Right now at 9, 2 men are in custody in connection with the disappearance of a Springdale, Arkansas man after his body is discovered in Berry County. Plus, a Missouri man wrongfully convicted in 3 murders comes home to a new life. Also, although Thanksgiving is behind us, the turkey is still on the mind of one local group. And a group in Pittsburgh sets up a party to help take care of some of your Christmas gifts.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the disappearance of a man from a Springdale, Arkansas apartment, according to officials with the Springdale Police Department. Now, with those 2 suspects in custody, the search initially continued for 39-year-old Richard Phillips. Now, Phillips was last seen at the Peaks Apartments on Cooper Drive in Springdale on November 23rd. An investigation into his disappearance started after a witness told police Phillips was abducted from the apartment by a group of men. Officers then spotted a trail of blood in the parking lot. Yesterday, just before noon, a group of hunters discovered a body later identified as Phillips just north of Seligman, Missouri in Berry County. Law enforcement determined that he died in Springdale. His body is being sent to the Arkansas State Crime Lab now to determine his cause of death. Springdale police officials say following an extensive investigation, Reginald Baker of Seligman, Missouri and Daniel Blanks of Fort Smith, Arkansas were named suspects in the case. Investigators learned the pair were staying in Tulsa and requested authorities in the area help bring the men into custody. Both men were arrested by the police department in Tulsa without incident and will be transported back to Washington County in Arkansas. A man declared wrongfully convicted in 3 murders heads to a new life with lots of goodwill through donated funds. More than $1.4 million has been raised as of Saturday from a GoFundMe project for 62-year-old Kevin Strickland of Kansas City. Strickland was ordered released from prison on Tuesday by a Missouri Court of Appeals judge for a wrongful 1979 conviction in 3 killings in Kansas City. Judge ruled that evidence has since been recanted or disproved. Strickland has always maintained his innocence. The GoFundMe project will help Strickland with his living expenses. And it was a little bit chillier, as Nick promised, but still a nice sunny day overall.
Yeah, you can't really complain, Chris, even with a little bit of cloud cover at times. We kept things nice and quiet to put a nice little bow on this holiday weekend. As far as the numbers go, we were close to what we advertised, 34 for this morning and back near 54 this afternoon. And those both numbers, by the way, not too far from what we consider normal late in the month of November. We've been staying pretty quiet all evening long despite some cloud cover sneaking in from the north, but that's about the worst our skies will get throughout the course of the night. But what's going to really help us out tonight and going into tomorrow, though, we actually have an area of high pressure on top of the region. And as it slides to the east, we're going to finally get that southerly wind back in action as we go throughout the course of the night. That helps us out with temperatures because we'll hold primarily in the upper 30s as we go through the overnight. But that south and southwest breeze really cranks into gear tomorrow, Chris, and with plenty of sunshine, that'll send us at least back into the mid-60s. We'll see how long this mild stretch of temperatures will stick with us with the full forecast here in a bit.
All right, Nick, I'm looking forward to that breeze. Thank you. Well, although Thanksgiving is behind us, one local group still has turkey on the brain. Spring River Boat and Ski Club held one of their regular turkey shoots today. Organizers say it's a great way to connect with fellow club members.
This is our annual turkey shoots. We do them every year. Have done for probably 55 years. And this is one of our fundraisers we do to promote the club and support the club.
This one was the last of the turkey shoots for this year. So many of us have begun the daunting task of buying Christmas gifts for family and friends, and I know what I'm getting you, Nick. For some of us, including myself, that's actually the easy part. Thankfully, today, the Ambassadors Church in Pittsburgh got together to help with the not-so-easy part, wrapping. Now, the group held a wrap party this afternoon to help folks like me and some of you, I'm sure, take care of the wrapping part of the gift-buying process.
This is something we haven't done before, so as a young adults group, we always like to get together and do fun things and get together and just have fun. And so this is another way, like for the holidays, I thought we could come together and do an outreach as well and have fun and get in the Christmas spirit.
Officials are hopeful the party brought a smile to those in need of some wrapping assistance. I suspect it probably brought a smile to those who are going to get these nicely wrapped gifts. Well, more flash mob style robberies shaking up at least 2 Los Angeles County stores last night as large groups of looters ransacked a Home Depot and a high-end store. Officials issuing a citywide tactical alert after this latest theft. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has more from Los Angeles.
Oakland police have confirmed the security guard who was shot protecting a news crew during an attempted robbery Wednesday has died. The security firm that he worked for has identified him as Kevin Nishida. He is a retired police officer with a wife, 2 kids, and 3 grandchildren. No arrests were made in the downtown Oakland shooting. Nishida's death comes after a week of rampant flash mob thefts and smash and grab robberies at multiple locations up and down the state. In Southern California, a group of about 15 to 20 suspects stormed a Home Depot store in Lakewood and stole crowbars, mallets, and sledgehammers before jumping in getaway vehicles. Some now fear what those thieves might do with those stolen tools. In the Los Angeles area, groups of robbers have been targeting Nordstrom stores and CVS pharmacies, among other places. A large group entered a Bottega Veneta store on Friday near Beverly Hills and got away with high-end items, adding to the tens of thousands of dollars in stolen merchandise from California stores this week. Critics say a state referendum which downgraded property theft to a misdemeanor for stolen items with a value of $950 or less is leading to this surge in organized retail crime.
I think the other thing that's going on is we see a lot of prosecutors who don't necessarily make sensible charging decisions. I think this is a direct consequence of that sort of rhetoric. I think when people lose respect for the law, they don't fear capture, they don't fear punishment, this is the sort of thing that you see. So I think all politicians would be well advised to make sure that we have stiff sentences in place, and prosecutors would be well advised to take these crimes seriously.
Law enforcement has beefed up patrols at shopping centers, but at this point, dozens of smash and grab robbery suspects are still on the loose with no sign of this crime slowing down. Reporting in Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
We take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Petty Officer 2nd Class Christopher Steenrod is currently serving in the Navy and has participated in 107 maritime operations. His hometown, Parsons. We're proud to recognize Petty Officer 2nd Class Christopher Steenrod, tonight's 4-state hero. And remember, you want to learn more about our other heroes, or if you've got one of your own you'd like to nominate, you can do so anytime at our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. A little later on the news at 9, the COVID Omicron variant is beginning to cause concern worldwide, and it's prompting travel restrictions from several countries.
Our entire holiday weekend has finally come to a close, and we were thankful that we kept things nice and quiet, even though it was a bit chilly as we wrapped up the weekend on this Sunday. Still looking okay from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. This view has stayed pretty quiet once again throughout the course of the day. And that's going to be, for the most part, the overall theme as we go through much of this week, as we not only wrap up November, but head into December. Hard to believe how fast we're flying through this year. But despite what we're going into, temperatures will be mild for much of this week. But a weak wave, I want to watch one that'll pass by on Wednesday, and then a stronger system, sticking with Doug's pattern. That's what I want to keep an eye on by the time we head into next weekend. As far as temperatures go, we did trend a bit chillier thanks to a quick front that passed on through yesterday. You see how we went from highs in the lower and maybe mid-60s for some of you, dropped back into the mid-30s this morning, and lower to middle 50s for this afternoon. Still, that's not terrible. In fact, that's exactly where we should be as we begin to wrap up the month of November. This view from 7th and Range Line has been quiet all day long, and those quiet skies, despite the front dropping us back into the 30s this morning, those clear skies and the light north breeze meant temperatures didn't have much of a problem warming things up. In fact, everybody went back generally into the mid-50s this afternoon, but throughout this evening, temperatures are taking a bit of an interesting twist because we've seen temperatures already fall back into the upper 30s and lower 40s. But I'm thinking that's what we're going to hold in general throughout the rest of the night, because even though we had a light northerly breeze throughout the day, look at that wind ready to switch out of the south. That is due to a changing weather setup, which I can certainly show you right now. A little cloud cover from the north passing through. That's about the worst that our skies will get throughout the course of the night. Here's our changing weather setup at the surface to start. An area high pressure now centered over Table Rock Lake. That's going to continue to shift toward the east, bringing that southerly wind back into action. But there's the next cold front that I want to watch as we head toward Wednesday, along with a some eventual upper level wave that'll work out of the Pacific right around the ridge in the west and come our way for Wednesday. Before any of that action gets here, though, we'll keep things quiet for the next few days. Granted, a little cloud cover still as we go into the overnight, but you see how we turn mostly clear by sunrise, and that southerly breeze keeps us primarily in the upper 30s to near 40 to start the morning out. But that southwest wind really cranks into gear tomorrow, and look at how mild it will get for our final Monday in the month of November. 38 in the morning, 60 by noon, highs near 65. It'll definitely feel like a good day, but keep an eye on that breeze if you have outdoor plans. Southwest at 10 to 20 during the afternoon. Occasional gusts near 25 and 30, certainly not out of the question. Thankfully, that breeze keeps us in the lower 40s for Tuesday morning, and we'll just say partly sunny skies for Tuesday afternoon, but again, highs back in the 60s. Quick look at Wednesday shows that quick wave in front wants to try and bring maybe a few random sprinkles with more cloud cover for Wednesday, but that's about it. We're dry Thursday. We're dry Friday, but as we head towards Saturday and Sunday, that's when the stronger systems, sticking with Doug's pattern, will begin to roll in. I don't think temperatures will be cold enough yet to introduce any snow chances for Saturday and Sunday, but I do want to keep an eye on that system for at least rain and thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday. But dry through much of this week, Chris. 65 tomorrow, 63 on Tuesday, quick dip to 61 on Wednesday before we head back near 70 on Thursday.
Not too bad. I mean, again, we've said this, the last couple of days that these are really good temperatures for this time of year. So got to enjoy them while we can.
Yeah, because once we get behind that front by next weekend, Chris, temperatures will definitely take a tumble.
Winter's got to get here at some point, right? Nick, thank you. We've got more news coming your way.
Health officials around the world are on high alert over a new variant of the coronavirus. It's called Omicron, and it could be even more transmissible than the Delta variant. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
A new variant of the coronavirus that's been identified in South Africa is causing concern worldwide. It appears to be even more contagious than the Delta variant, and it's prompted officials in several countries to restrict travel from southern Africa. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri reports.
Health officials are warning of another potentially dangerous variant. The World Health Organization has named it Omicron. The variant has been identified in South Africa, and early studies show it could be even more contagious than Delta.
This variant is spreading around the world, with 2 cases so far identified here in the UK.
Here in the U.S., the CDC says it has not received any reports of confirmed Omicron cases. President Biden, leaving earlier today from Nantucket, received a briefing from his COVID-19 response team.
This is a clarion call, as far as I'm concerned, of saying let's put aside all of these differences that we have and say, if you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you're fully vaccinated, get boosted, and get the children vaccinated also.
The president has made the decision to shut down travel from South Africa and 7 other countries. We're told out of an abundance of caution. The restrictions were announced quickly, but they don't take effect until Monday.
I believe it's got to be here in the United States. So the travel advisories are a little bit too little too late. The time when they might actually work is way at the beginning.
Other health experts, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, said they would not be surprised if the strain is already in the U.S., adding that the variant has a number of mutations, meaning it has the potential to evade immune protection. The European Union, Israel, Singapore, and the UK have all imposed travel restrictions on southern Africa nations. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Up next on the news at 9, the Biden administration is looking to get more drilling dollars out of the oil and gas industry. The latest on recommendations from the Department of the Interior. The Biden administration is looking to squeeze the oil and gas industry for more drilling dollars. The Department of the Interior making a recommendation Friday for oil and gas companies to pay more money to drill on public lands and waters. The report says rental rates haven't been raised since 1987 and are still at $1.50 to $2 an acre. The American Petroleum Institute feeling the administration is sending mixed signals as energy costs increase. Some environmental groups have been pushing for more restrictions or outright bans on drilling. However, the administration did not make that recommendation on Friday. Santa's helpers have boosted their hiring in anticipation for the coming holiday giving season. Three of the nation's major shippers, U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, and United Parcel Service, are looking to hire about 230,000 temporary workers. Postal Service is transitioning 30,000 non-career workers to career status and is adding more sorting machines. FedEx has added 90,000 seasonal workers, and UPS has hired about 100,000 workers. About 3.4 billion parcels and letters are expected to be sent. That's an increase of about 400 million compared to last year. Traffic at retail stores on Black Friday was up 47% compared with 2020, but down 28% compared with 2019 levels. Data shows Americans are shifting more of their spending to online. And with Cyber Monday now just hours away, Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff takes a look at online shopping.
Black Friday isn't the king it used to be for retailers. It's not even really just a day anymore, with sales starting in-store and online weeks earlier. While Black Friday foot traffic was down compared with pre-pandemic levels, it was up from last year, perhaps signaling some brick-and-mortar nostalgia after nearly 2 years of shopping online. Online sales actually fell for the first time Friday. According to Adobe Analytics, retailers racked up $8.9 billion in cyber sales this year, compared with $9 billion on the same day in 2020.
People were worried about supplies in the last 2 months, and we saw a big jump in retail sales that came earlier than a lot of people expected.
A major test comes tomorrow. In order to break the Cyber Monday record set in 2019, consumers will have to spend over $9.4 billion. The National Retail Federation expects holiday sales from November to December to rise 8.5% to 10.5% to over $843 billion. That, too, would set a record for year-over-year growth. But Fox News contributor Jonathan Honig has some doubts.
Inflation, they always say it's a silent tax, but people exactly are feeling it because as their wages are going up, inflation is going up even faster.
Supply chain issues have also given retailers a lot to make up for tomorrow, as many large chains have been forced to spend more to meet demand while dealing with loss of sales due to low inventory and labor shortages to boot. Consumers may also be eyeing up markdowns that aren't as steep as they used to be, especially when factoring in that sale prices are falling on top of items that are already more expensive. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Still ahead, an important strategic reserve release from our neighbors up north. Canada's version of a strategic reserve release will help ease your breakfast time, fuel up cravings soon. The Quebec maple syrup producers, sometimes called the OPEC of maple syrup, are opening the taps and helping with global peace at breakfast time by releasing 50 million pounds of maple syrup. Now, due to a worldwide shortage of that traditional waffle and pancake topping, roughly half of their syrup strategic reserves will be released. The producers say they've been hit by a surge in demand and a 24% drop in production due to warmer temperatures. The Quebec producers make for about 70% of the world's maple syrup supply, and they're authorizing more production next year to cover the release. We've got 30 more minutes of news, weather, sports, and maple syrup coming your way on the news at 9. Next, Russia jails 5 people and begins legal proceedings following a fatal coal mining accident earlier this week. Plus, a man from Guatemala takes a dangerous flight to the U.S. We'll tell you where he was riding. Also, a university honors the life of a student who died in a charity boxing match. And President Joe Biden calling for an important international agreement about coronavirus vaccines. Welcome back. Russia begins legal proceedings after a fatal coal mine accident on Thursday. 5 people will be held in jail pending an investigation of a mine explosion in Siberia that killed 51 people. Experts saying the explosion was caused by sparked methane gas. 285 people were in the mine at the time, and 239 were rescued shortly after the blast. The mine's director, his deputy, and section supervisor are among those being jailed. Officials say miners had complained about high methane levels, and authorities suspended certain sections of the mine 9 times and issued fines for violations. A dangerous flight to the U.S. Saturday morning for a Guatemalan man who hid in an unsuspecting part of the plane. The 26-year-old man hid in the landing gear of American Airlines Flight 1182, traveling from Guatemala to Miami. The man was discovered and taken into custody by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Video of the incident shows the man after being detained and before being taken to a hospital for medical assessment. American Airlines says it's cooperating with authorities in the incident. The FAA says 129 people have tried to stow away in wheel wells or other areas of commercial aircraft since 1947, with 100 having died from injuries during those flights. A university honors the life of a student who died in a charity boxing match. A vigil being held at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas on what would have been the 21st birthday of Nathan Valencia. Valencia had taken part in an amateur boxing event put on by a fraternity to raise money for charity. During the fight, Valencia, who was a member of a different fraternity, collapsed and was rushed to a nearby hospital where family members say he died of brain injuries. A GoFundMe campaign has been set up for Valencia's medical and funeral expenses. Valencia's family says they are exploring legal options. European countries start preparing for the new coronavirus variant with renewed rules, more restricted travel, and fears of more lockdowns. The new South African Omicron coronavirus variant popping up in more European countries on Saturday. New cases have been confirmed in Germany, Italy, Belgium, Israel, and Hong Kong. America's top epidemiologist, Dr. Anthony Fauci, believes it could be in the U.S. soon if it's not already here. Great Britain has 10 Africa countries on its red travel list. U.S. has imposed a travel ban on 8 African countries, including South Africa. President Joe Biden calling for an important international agreement about coronavirus vaccines. Biden asking nations to waive intellectual property protections for COVID-19 vaccines. This comes amid the discovery of that new coronavirus variant in South Africa. The president says it's clear the pandemic won't end until vaccines are made available globally. The administration has been criticized for prioritizing free booster vaccines for Americans over helping poorer countries get vaccines. The president was scheduled to present his case next week at the World Trade Organization. However, that meeting has now been canceled. And that coronavirus variant, again dubbed Omicron by the World Health Organization, has scientists around the world on high alert. There's concern the variant may be more transmissible than Delta. Right now, President Biden is trying to keep the focus on the importance of vaccines and supporting small businesses in the run-up to Christmas. Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich is traveling with the president in Nantucket, Massachusetts this weekend.
President Biden said he was not surprised or concerned about the stock market's response to the new variant Omicron. He said that this is what typically happens when COVID is on the rise. But he encouraged Americans to get their vaccines, or if they've had their shots, to get their boosters, saying there's so much that we don't know about this new variant.
Every American who's not been vaccinated should be responsible and be vaccinated from age 5 years and up, number one. Number two, everyone eligible for the booster shot should get the booster shot immediately upon being eligible. That is the minimum that everyone should be doing. And we always talk about whether this is about freedom. I think it's a patriotic responsibility.
After U.S. health officials spoke to South African scientists about how fast the new variant spreads and whether vaccines are effective against it, the president made the decision to shut down travel from South Africa and 7 other countries, we're told, out of an abundance of caution. The restrictions were announced quickly, but they don't take effect until Monday. Some medical experts say that could considerably lessen their benefit. A White House official said today the president has been briefed on the latest on Omicron. Dr. Anthony Fauci said yesterday any next steps will be guided by the science, and a big upcoming focus will be on testing for this variant. The fast-moving developments taking the spotlight off of holiday sales, expected to climb at a record pace this year despite inflation. The president encouraged shoppers to consider small business shopping this weekend and also tried to quell concerns about stubbornly high gas prices, tweeting, "This week we launched a major effort to moderate the price of oil, an effort that will span the globe in its reach and ultimately reach your corner gas station. It will take time, but before long, you should see the price of gas drop where you fill up your tank." The president's referring to the 50 million barrels of oil released from the nation's emergency stockpile last week. Critics said that may not have much of an impact, but the FTC is also investigating potential price gouging. President Biden said despite wholesale gas prices falling over the last couple weeks, the price at the pump is remaining the same, with supply companies pocketing the difference. He called that unacceptable. On Nantucket, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
Well, coming up after sports, officials are meeting to discuss the migrant smuggling crisis as migrants lose their lives in a desperate bid to enter European countries.
Our holiday weekend has come to an end with a chilly Sunday all across the area, but at least we kept things quiet, not only just throughout the day, but still from our look outside of Seneca, Missouri. Look at it just on the outskirts of Seneca, Missouri, across the Missouri-Oklahoma state line. With this quiet view, we have seen temperatures respond nicely to that, but we had at least trend a little bit chillier today after a cold front passed on through. For example, it took us from the lower 60s at Joplin Regional the other day down into the mid-30s this morning. But even with a light north breeze behind that cold front, we still managed to warm up nicely, but only this time back into the mid-50s this afternoon. Fortunately, we got a pretty good mild stretch for much of this week, even though I have a few systems I'm keeping an eye on, but nothing threatening whatsoever with our look from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. That quiet view meant Joplin started out in downtown, at least started around 36 this morning. Everybody started in the mid-30s, but all the clear skies, even with the lightest of the north and northwesterly breeze, allowed temperatures to go into the mid-50s for much of the region. You can argue a few upper 50s in our far western counties, but ever since we got this evening underway, we've seen temperatures quickly tumble into the upper 30s and lower 40s. Thankfully, though, with our changing weather setup, I think that's where we're going to stay throughout the course of the night, because look at the wind tracker. We had a light northerly breeze throughout the course of the day, but look how it's switching more out of the south. That's because of a changing setup at the surface. Let me show you what I mean as we take you back to the Skywatch storm tracker. A little cloud cover coming in. That's the worst that our skies will get throughout the course of the night. But here's the change. An area high pressure centered over Table Rock Lake is continuing to slide to the east. And as we get on the backside of the high, that's where the southerly wind will come back into play. That warms us up quite a bit again for tomorrow. I am watching a quick front off to our north and west, along with a few waves to the northwest as well. They're going to try and sneak in by Wednesday, but for tomorrow and Tuesday, thankfully, this future track will show nothing but quiet weather passing on through. We will have to start with some cloud cover overnight, but will be mostly sunny or mostly clear before sunrise as we get your Monday morning started. But we have to go from a bit of a cold start. But look at how fast we warm things up as soon as that southwest breeze really cranks into gear tomorrow. Breaking down the planner, we'll go to 38 in the morning, 60 by noon, and pushing highs through 65, certainly with the southwest wind at 10 to 20 during the afternoon. Can't rely on some gusts near 30 at times as well. As we go through Monday night, Tuesday morning, that same breeze lightens up just a little bit, still keeps us in the lower 40s. Then we'll deal with temperatures, there we go, pushing back into the 60s for our Tuesday. Quick look at Wednesday, front to the north and west, and a weak wave pass on through. Maybe a few areas of drizzle with more cloud cover Wednesday, but that's about it. Dry Thursday and Friday, but sticking with Doug's pattern, we can certainly see rain chances eager to ramp back up Saturday, and certainly as we go into Sunday. And if we get beyond that system, after next weekend, we're going to see temperatures really tumble from this mild perch we find ourselves on. But 65 tomorrow, 63 Tuesday, 61 on Wednesday, but pushing near 70. Numbers hard to come by, so we better enjoy them while they're here, Chris.
I'm just going to pretend the temperatures next week aren't going to happen. I'm just going to accept this 7-day as the way it is.
Yeah, we'll worry about it later.
Exactly. That's what we'll do. We'll enjoy this for now. Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up, Sooners head coach Lincoln Riley is parting ways with Oklahoma. Danny Terzer has the details next.
This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. After 5 seasons with the Sooners, head coach Lincoln Riley is leaving. Riley has accepted the head coaching job at USC. He replaces former USC coach Clay Helton, who was fired in September after 7 seasons with the Trojans. Riley leaves a Sooners program that he helped guide to 4 consecutive Big 12 titles and 3 college football playoff appearances. In his 5 years at Oklahoma, he had a 55-10 record. Well, prior to today's news of Riley's departure, the Sooners were focused on a huge conference game. Oklahoma on the road on Saturday for a top 10 matchup against rival Oklahoma State. This one with big implications. The tie game in the second quarter, Brennan Presley on the return. A few close calls, but he blows by everybody. This is a 100-yard touchdown return, and that building is going wild. Then there's another huge special teams play right here. This time Presley loses it. Justin Broyles scoops it up for the Sooners touchdown. What a wild game. Oklahoma leads 33-24. Fourth quarter, 2-point game here. Eric Gray muffs the punt. This time DeMarco Jones Jr. recovers. More costly mistakes. Cowboys take over on the 5-yard line, and then a few plays later, Jalen Warren punches it in. Cowboys take the lead. 14 seconds left in the game here, 4th and 10. Colin Oliver gets the sack on Caleb Williams. Oklahoma State wins 37-33, snapping a 6-game losing streak to Oklahoma, and the Cowboys earn a spot in the Big 12 championship. The Webb City Cardinals have more football to play this year. The Cardinals are headed to the state championship game, aiming for their 16th in program history. Webb City took down undefeated Jackson on Saturday 35-21. The Cardinals played a dominant first half of football, highlighted by 3 rushing touchdowns from Cade Wilson. He finished with 4. Jackson fought its way back into the game, but Webb City defense was just too good. They came up with a few huge 4th down stops. Head coach John Roderick praised the group's performance.
Oh, it played fantastic. I mean, this team averages 45, 50 points a game. What an outstanding effort by our guys. You know, we got to a point where they really probably tried to throw it more. They've kind of been, you know, like a lot of teams, they try to control the ball with the run game. But yeah, our defense has been just unbelievable here as of late.
In Class 2, the Tigers will get a shot at defending their title. Lamar won a 1-point game against Richmond on Saturday to advance to the state championship. Joel Beshore connected with Austin Wilkerson to put the Tigers up 21-14. That proved to be just enough to edge the Spartans and claim the victory.
It feels great. It never gets old, and you know, this group has earned it. They deserve it, and can't wait to get 6 more days of football with them. It's one game at a time, and right now our one game at a time is the last one. It's the big one. So we're going to do what we do. We're going to prepare like we always do, and put our kids in the best position possible to win a football game.
Both the Tigers and the Cardinals will play for the state championship this coming Friday in Columbia. Lamar will face Lutheran St. Charles at 3, and then at 7 p.m., Webb City is set to face Holt. In Kansas, Frontenac met Andale in the Class 3A state championship. An off day for the Raiders against a really good opponent. They just couldn't get anything going all day, falling 53-0. Frontenac finishes their season as the state runner-up with a 10-3 record.
They're part of my family for the rest of my life. Special group of kids, especially those seniors, but especially just the way they came together as a group from freshmen all the way to seniors. It was special. It was fun to be around. You have nothing to say to them after a game. Everybody's hurting, and you feel for them. But yeah, it goes way past football. I know they're hurting right now, but they'll look back at this season and remember how special it was.
The number 4 ranked Kansas Jayhawks are looking to get back on track today after losing their first game of the season to Dayton on Friday. Kansas hits the floor today against Iona at ESPN Events Invitational. Late in the first half, Christian Brown steals it, throws it down on the other end. Jayhawks up by 22. Brown again takes it coast to coast. He gets 18 on the day. Then right before the break, Brown throws it up. Alley-oop. Ochai Agbaji for the dunk. Kansas leads 46-31 at half. 2 minutes left in the game. Remy Martin to KJ Adams for the slam. Kansas wins 96-83. Arkansas in action today against Penn. 2-point game. Nice spin move. JD Note gets the layup. One more look at this one. Still in the first, Audis Tony drives to the net. Plus the foul. It's a 3-point play. Arkansas up by 11. Second half, Stanley Amude throws down the dunk. Razorbacks pulling away. And then Note, he drops 28 points. Arkansas stays perfect, beating Penn 76-60. A Major League Soccer, Sporting Kansas City hosts the Western Conference semifinal this afternoon against Real Salt Lake. Sporting Kansas strikes first, but Real Salt Lake pulls off a huge comeback. They score the winner in stoppage time to knock off Sporting Kansas City. We're back right after this.
Top European officials have been meeting to discuss the migrant smuggling crisis. It's a situation that's growing more and more dire as migrants lose their lives in a desperate bid to enter European countries. Fox News correspondent Trey Yangst takes a look.
France held talks today with European ministers over their own developing migrant crisis. The aim of the meeting was reportedly to improve operational coordination to stop human smuggling. French President Emmanuel Macron is calling on the United Kingdom to get serious over the developing situation, as the British were not included in these conversations. Last Wednesday, 27 people died as they attempted to cross the English Channel from France to the UK. 5 people were arrested following the tragedy, and one actually had a car that was registered in Germany, highlighting the cross-border connection to migration. French authorities have set up a patrol group, thermal cameras, and barbed wire to try and stop people from crossing near the entrance of the channel. Despite the attempts at curbing the flow of people toward the UK, thousands are expected to continue trying to make the journey. The Refugee Council is calling on European governments to find a solution under the idea of shared humanitarian values.
People recognise and understand and see a common sense of humanity with those that have experienced trauma and war and persecution, and they want to offer a hand of help and support. But at the same time, understandably, they're worried and they're anxious when they see images of people coming across the channel.
Humanitarian organizations have noted that the strategies for deterrence simply aren't working right now. People in their home country are deciding they are willing to risk everything to get to a better life. In Jerusalem, Trey Yangst, Fox News.
Still ahead, 2 different festivals of light taking place. Details on both next. The Festival of Lights is back at Florida's Hillsborough Country Fairgrounds. The nearly 2-mile drive-through festive display also features 1 million lights. The one-of-a-kind experience even has displays fit for a only in Florida holiday like alligator wrestling. And of course, seeing Santa on his airboat. Tickets are $25 per car for up to 8 people. It runs from 6 to 10 p.m. And just a little while ago at sundown, the Jewish Festival of Lights, better known as Hanukkah, has begun. The 8-night holiday commemorates the rededication of the second Jewish temple in Jerusalem with the lighting of the menorah. 1 candle is lit each day to celebrate the miracle of a 1-day oil supply in a lamp at the temple that lasted 8 days. Hanukkah is also a time for exchanging gifts, playing the game of dreidel, and sharing special meals and treats with loved ones. And that is our time for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you can find us online, KOAMNewsNow.com, KOAM News Now app. Thanks for making us part of your night.